Welcome back. In this section, I'll go through into more detail of this model. I'll show you how to add rows into the block, delete rows if you want to delete it, and also add next year sheet. I have already created other blocks of the assets, as you can see here. In the previous example, I had walked you through plant and machinery section where we have calculated depreciation in the various scenarios and also calculate profit or loss in case of sale takes place of the asset. In practical world scenario, you will have more blocks of asset, not only plant and machinery. So I have a leasehold improvement as a new block, equipment as a new block, furniture and fixtures as a new block, and computer peripherals. So you can add as many as blocks you want in this model. I have already populated some dummy datas for asset purchase date and other details as well. I also have shown asset sale to check the accuracy of model. Now let me show you how to add more rows in particular block. For example, in plant and machinery block, after serial number 7, I want to add few additional rows. To do that, you have to go to the last non-blank cell in that particular model. So for us it is nothing but B17, as there is a data validation tip is there where you have to be in the last non-blank row. So to do that, you have to select this particular row, go to this button called add new row, and it will ask you how many rows you would like to add in this block of asset table. So suppose you want to add 5 rows and click OK. So as you can see, total number of rows are total 12 in this block. Automatically the formulas will be copied and you can start inputting new assets. For example, I'll be inputting number 8 with 5 years of useful life. We have bought this on 1st July for $50,000. And you can see the depreciation is calculated from July. Suppose you have mistakenly added more rows, now you want to delete the row or you want to delete existing records. You can do that as well. To do that, you have to select the rows you want to delete. So like this, you will be selecting the rows. You have to click this button called delete rows. It will give you a warning message like this. Are you sure you want to delete the selected rows? Once deleted, you will not be able to undo this task. If you are familiar with VBA and macros in Excel, any task or action done by a macro cannot be undone. So be really careful what you do with macros, especially here. Once you delete the rows, you cannot get it back. So this is the warning it shows up and you have to select yes or no. If you select no, nothing will happen. It will just pop a simple message. None of the selected rows were deleted. You can close this dialog box now. But we want to delete it, so let's do it again. Select the cells for which you want to delete entire row. Click on delete row button and click yes. And now the rows are deleted. Now to create more blocks of assets just like this, you need to unlock this model. For that, I'll be providing you unlock password as well. So let's suppose I want to create one more block, and to do that I just have to select any block. For example, I'm selecting plant and machinery. Select entire row like this, copy, go down to the location. For example, you are going to the down and paste it. Now you have to remove the details which already exist in this particular block of asset. For example, also you need to copy this yellow cell to the other cells as well to remove the override of sale of asset which we did in the plant and machinery block. So by default it will be selecting end date. Then if there is any sale of asset, you can always override it with a manual entry. Now this new block of asset is ready for your use. And similar way you can add as many as blocks you want. Now let's try to add next year's sheet. Now suppose this is the first time you have used this model. For year 2016, you input all your records here. Now as an accountant, you know you need to carry forward your balances next year, and you want to carry forward your all these workings and depreciation calculation next year. But you don't want to carry forward these sale values. So this model is smartly designed. I'll show you what exactly will happen to these sale values and this sale of assets and how the balance will behave. So to add a new tab on next year's sheet, you have to click this button called add new year sheet. it will ask to add a new tab name or sheet name. This can be anything you want, but I would prefer to keep a year's name, which would be 2017 here. Click OK. So now this is most important step. Here in next year's sheet, you want this cell B3 in next year's sheet to be a year format, like 2016, 17, 18. You cannot put anything else. If you do that, this model will not work. So be careful. You can give any name you want for the sheet, but keep this particular input as a year number. So we have to put 2017 again, as my year and name of the sheet is same. But as I told you before, you can keep the sheet name anything you want. Click OK, and new year sheet is added. As you can see, when you added new sheet, the sale value which were here for all the blocks has been deleted completely. The same time, for the assets which were sold in previous year are highlighted in yellow with the same dates. So you can keep the track of assets which were sold in previous years as well. But as I told you before, in order for this model to work accurately, you need to remove these sale values if there is no sale that has taken place. But since this sale has taken place in previous year but not this year, the dates would be here itself, but the values will be gone. Also the values in gross block is completely gone, as well as accumulated depreciation and add book value. But if you want to refer what actually happened, you must go to the previous year like this. Since this is the current year's data, we want to keep the profit or loss on sale of assets for the current year. That's the reason I'm deleting the sale values for the previous year. I've also tried to input some data validation checks. For example, you cannot keep same sheet name. Like if I want to add another 2017 here, by clicking this add next year sheet, suppose I put 2017 again, or any sheet name which already exists, it will not allow, as is already exists here. One of the most important thing when you carry forward your this year data to next year is to bring closing balance of previous years to opening balance. So for example, closing balance of PNM1 here in row 11 is 52,145, which should be opening balance. But the balances are same, so it won't matter. But for example, this particular asset PNM2, which was sold in the year, so their opening balance should be nil. Similarly, if there is a sale again, opening balance should be nil. In the block of accumulated depreciation, scenario is same. So this particular balance in column AF should be carried forward as opening balance. So this model takes care of that as well by using a UDF, user defined function, which is here you can see previous year sheet. The code of which will be available in your VBA module for this particular sheet. Now I will show you this particular formula in action and how these balances are carried forwarded in next year by adding a new year sheet. As you can see in new year sheet, all the balances are carried forwarded. For the assets which were sold, there is no carry forward of balance. For example, PNM2 65212, which had a closing balance of 0 since it was sold, there is no opening balance in 2017. Let's check accumulated depreciation, which is most important. So in 2016, we had a closing balance of 42,260 for PNM1 in row 11, which is the opening balance. For assets which were sold, it should have an opening balance of 0. So PNM2 was sold, so accumulated balance as on December 2016 or year end 2016 was 0. It should be 0 as you can see here in row 12. Same way in gross cost of asset. All the balances are carried forward correctly. You can verify it. You can also quickly verify by taking the closing balance of totals, like 160708 for plant and machinery should be opening balance 160708. You can also put a small validation here by linking the other cell. So for second block, the closing balance of accumulated depreciation was 39,885 and opening balance is 39,885. So this is a fantastic model to calculate your depreciation and work out profit or loss on sale of assets. Also it calculates in month accurate depreciation. For example, if you are buying assets in mid of the month or you're selling the asset in mid of the month, it takes care of depreciation accordingly in the months block, as you can see here. As I mentioned before, you will get the free copy of this template with the unlock password. Also, I'll be providing you unlock password for the VBA module as well. But I highly suggest, if you are giving this model to your other users or your colleagues or your staff, make sure you lock this template with the proper instruction. Thank you very much guys for watching. If you have any question, please feel free to post them in the question and answer section. I'll be happy to reply that.